Right. Hey losers. So if you've been watching like anything I've made ever, you probably know that I'm trans, which I think is a huge part of my identity and something I definitely want to talk about. Recently I saw Miles McKenna's video on his transition thus far. I've been a huge fan of Miles for a while now, and I've always been inspired to document my transition the same way he does. So this is going to be the start of a new series that I don't know what I'm going to call, but it's basically just going to be me talking about my transition. And I'm so awkward today. This is going to be a series where I document my gender, social and medical transition into my manliness. I don't fucking know. Okay, it's a bit higher. So I have three main motives with the series. Firstly, I want to give myself a space to talk about my transition, a space to process things as and when they happen. I haven't done much yet, but I'm kind of in the stage of my life where I want to start doing things, and more on that later. Yeah, overall, I'd really like a space where I can just talk to myself and talk to you guys about this and figure out how I feel about things. Secondly, I want a space where I can document what's happening for other people. I know there's a lot of people like me who are similar in age, and that means that they haven't been able to access certain gender affirming care yet. And I feel like as someone who did come out when the internet was in its peak, seeing other people talk about their transitions really helped me realise who I was. And if I can do that for someone else, that's amazing. And thirdly, and this is really ambitious by the way, I don't know if this is ever gonna happen, I would love to be monetized. I would love to have my videos get enough hype so that they can be monetized, and that can go towards top surgery, testosterone, bottom surgery, anything I really feel I need. And as an additional point, if this series does well enough, I might use it to piggyback off of to start my top surgery GoFundMe, or maybe do like a live stream to raise money, I don't know. But yeah, those are my motives. This feels like a really awkward video to record because I am very vocal about being trans, but I've never really shared my kind of transitional backstory, my evil villain story. I'm not super vocal about how I've gotten to the point that I am at. There's a lot of touchy subjects with my family and with, I don't know, just things personal to me, but I want to be open about them and I want to be able to process them better, and I feel like video format is the right way to do that for me. So I always knew I was trans when I grew up. Here's a picture of young me being super cool, I don't know. So I always knew I was trans. I always knew I was a guy. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realise at as early of an age as I did, which is absolutely valid. Like, it takes different people different time to process, but I was very aggressively certain that this was who I was. I realised that around 12, but there were always subtle things in my life that happened that kind of made me think maybe not super girl aligned, I don't know. I remember being maybe 7 and I went round a friend's house, and that's when I realised gender. And I spontaneously decided hey, for the rest of the week you're gonna call me Sam. That was my name, pre-realising it wasn't. You're gonna call me Sam and I'm gonna be a boy for the rest of the week. And then mum was just yeah, sure. Looking back, that was a very prominent sign of someone with undiagnosed gender dysphoria. I'm still not diagnosed, and I'll get more on that later, but I mean, it's not really something I can reject. I'm pretty fucking sure I'm trans. I've known for what, 7 years now? Yeah, and then I remember at a later date, I would always hang out with boys. I never really enjoyed hanging out with girls, and there was this one guy that I used to I think I had a bit of a friend crush on him. I just wanted to hang out with him a lot. I didn't really like him that way, but I just I wanted to be best mates with him, you know, he was so fucking cool. And I remember climbing this tree with him, and we got to the top and we were just sitting on the tree and maybe throwing at people. I was a horrible child. And he turned to me and he said, "Oh my god, you're so cool, you're practically a boy." And my brain chemistry was forever altered at that point. I don't know what happened, but something switched, and I felt so good. I was I am essentially a boy. That's mad. I never really knew what being trans was until maybe about year 12, but even then I didn't really think of it as being trans. I just thought of it as being a guy. Wait, did I say year 12? I meant when I was 12. I never really fully understood my trans identity until maybe around year 7 or 8. I remember being in year 6 and saying hey, by the end of secondary school I want everyone to think I'm a guy. And yeah, I don't want them to see me as a guy, I want them to think I'm a guy. I'm gonna deceive these bitches. And I did. but only by the end of that school year, not by the end of my whole secondary school journey. By the start of maybe year 8, I had everyone calling me by my preferred name and my preferred pronouns, and it felt really good, but I still didn't really like realize that that was a trans thing until it kind of hit me and I learnt about what being queer was, and I kind of realized a lot better who I was, which brings me on to a very personal topic. My coming out, I didn't really come out. I didn't grow up on a lot of queer media until a while after realizing I was trans. It was maybe, I want to say year 9. That's not going to be much for like anyone outside of the UK. It wasn't really until I was about like 14 that I started watching YouTubers like Miles McKenna. That was kind of it, to be fair. It was literally just Miles. Maybe a bit of No Offense. But yeah, it wasn't until then that I realized that there were like terms for these things. I didn't really realize what coming out was. I knew that I kind of had to do something at some point, but it was more just like, how do I tell them, you know? So I kind of didn't until one day, I can't remember how it happened, but my mum found my phone and found that I had been expressing myself or whatever I'd been doing. She basically kind of just sat me down and was like, hey, so I've been looking at your phone and I've seen that you have a girlfriend, because I also was straight at the time. Crazy. She was like, I saw that you have a girlfriend, and I was like, Mum, I'm a lesbian. I'm so sorry. And then she was like, well, that's fine, but I've also seen that you're a boy. I was like, okay, I'm kind of a boy, which she didn't actually take too well. Whoopsie. I kind of don't want to go into huge detail about my relationship with my family in regards to my gender identity, because it's still not great, and I feel like if I did talk about that kind of thing and they found this video, they would be a bit like, hey, why are you slagging me off on the internet? Which I'm not. I know everyone processes it differently, and I wish they had a better perspective on it, but also like, I don't know, I still want to have relationships with my family, so I'm gonna keep most of that on the down low. But for the most part, like, my being trans wasn't really accepted, which is a really hard thing to deal with. And again, I do understand everyone views it very differently, or like everyone takes someone coming out differently. Like, it can feel like learning to accept a whole new person when it isn't. Like, I'm still the same guy I was when I was like 5, maybe not 4 though, I was a back then. But yeah, no, where's my train of thought gone? I'm so fucking lost. I'm so happy that I wrote notes for this video, because I would be so dead without them. It would literally just be me waffling. But yeah, no, aside from my family, secondary school was when I began my social transition, which was amazing. I made so many new friends that I can introduce myself as my name that I actually enjoyed and didn't hate. And I got to be away from my family for longer periods of time with like school trips and staying around people's houses and going to people's houses after school, and just like being a person outside of being at home and being at school. And you know, because I think there was still an element of not being super accepted in my school though. A lot of secondary school kids in my country especially have a very negative view towards trans people, and I did deal with quite a lot of abuse from not people I was friends with, just people who knew of me but didn't really get to know me. And I won't dwell on that because it didn't really affect me too much. I don't think I am affected by things like that very much, unless it's someone that I'm close to. But yeah, that's gnarly. That's like not very cool. I didn't enjoy secondary school, but not because of the trans thing, you know? I mean, partially because of the trans thing, but not entirely. I feel like I'm waffling now. But yeah, in terms of social transition, for the most part, I was not for the most part, I feel like I was entirely accepted by my friends. It's still rocky with my family. A lot of my family members don't exactly know, except for my nan. I think she kind of supports me. My nan's cool. I like my nan. My personal transition goals. What do I want out of this? To me, oh my god, this is such a fucking awkward video to record. I think for me, transitioning means being in a body I'm a lot more comfortable in and getting rid of a lot of my dysphoria. For me, my dysphoria kind of lies around anything body-wise. I'm for the most part content with my face. I want to take testosterone though because I like the idea of having a beard and I like the idea of getting a bit more chiseled. I don't know if that will happen. I might just get my dad's face, which would not be ideal. Big transitional steps would probably be getting on testosterone, getting top surgery, and getting bottom surgery. I'm gonna level with you guys. I kind of want everything. I'm so greedy. I get a lot of dysphoria around my hips. This is basically me just like venting my insecurities. If some troll like finds this shit, you know, they're gonna have so much fucking ammunition against me. A lot of my dysphoria lies in my hips and my legs and my chest, and I think that's pretty common for a lot of trans guys. There is nothing wrong with having curvier features and bigger features. They actually look pretty cool on men. I fucking love the look of that on men. But for me, like, a huge deal would be just like getting on testosterone, maybe talking to a professional and seeing what I can do about building like a more squared kind of shape. I like curve, just not on my body. Yeah, there's not really much else for me to talk about here because I haven't done anything yet. I really want to get on testosterone. I think that is my next step essentially, but the biggest hurdle for me, okay, there's like two big hurdles. Number one, money / NHS waiting list, but I have like a few years left on the waiting list, which isn't too bad. Money, like, if I could afford to like go further now and skip that queue and just do it privately or something, that would be so fucking good. But I really don't see that happening. It's such a complicated process in the UK. I know it's not exactly the same, but I'm friends with a trans woman who got very royally fucked over by privatized gender healthcare. And yeah, she basically had a bit of a hassle where like they took a lot of her money, didn't really give her much, and then kind of like, I don't know, it's very expensive. And then I know another guy who they took a lot of his money and just didn't get back to him. And that is so scary for somewhere that's supposed to be helping you like fix these huge, massive issues, because it is a huge issue. It should be treated like any other disease. Not disease, that sounds wrong. I'm really bad with words today. I'm really fucking bad with words today. I did not choose a good day to record. It should be treated like any other medical issue, but it isn't for some crazy reason. But the fact that they can take so much of your money and then just not give you anything in return is so scary. There are so many fees that go into doing privatized healthcare. It's not just paying for the testosterone, the vials and the needles. It's also paying a fee to the clinic to access it. There's also paying for consultations, I hope I said that right, and a ton of other stuff that I don't fully know about because I haven't been there. But yeah, essentially like money is the biggest issue for me right now, and also my family. Because it's such a big step for me, I feel like I kind of have to tell them, and that's like really scary for me. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that and still have the same relationship I have now. Yeah, and I'm kind of kidding myself, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think maybe I might do a part 2 after I've kind of told my family that I'm going to do that. But the main issue is that like I don't know when I'm gonna be able to access it. Also, they don't really know about like my YouTube and my my Instagram and my TikTok, and I feel like if I did tell them that I don't know, I started a GoFundMe and had all these strangers on the internet pay for my surgeries, they'd be a bit weirded out. So that this might just have to be something I do on my own. Yeah, so that's great. What else was I gonna talk about? I'm actually really lost. I'm actually like, I feel like I've been talking for too long. I've been talking for 20 minutes now. How the fuck can I speak for that long? How can I speak that long? But yeah, those are my next steps. I really want to start testosterone. I really want to see those changes. Another thing for me would be building more muscle. I would love to be able to go to the gym and make more of an impact with testosterone than I would without. Yeah, I'd love to like sculpt my body a bit better. And I think those are things that a lot of people, trans or not trans, experience. But I feel like specifically to me, it is an issue of I don't feel like enough of a man unless I have this set body, which is silly and I shouldn't think that way, but I do because of the world we live in, which is super fucking lame, but whatever, we thrive. Yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about. I don't know how often I'm going to do these videos. I'm still getting used to recording at uni, but I'm also still, oh yeah, I'm at uni by the way. That's mad, that's actually fucking crazy. I'm still getting used to recording at uni. in my new house with people around me that I don't know. It's not the same as like recording at home and being like, oh, if my mum hears me, it's my mum, like she still likes me, it's not embarrassing. But also just like, I don't know how much I'm gonna have to update you guys on. I don't know how much work I'm gonna be doing here and how busy I'm gonna be and if I'm gonna have time. It does do well, and I do want to continue doing this as a series because I think it would be so fun. I will update as soon as something happens. At the very least, I will update when I get on testosterone, but maybe as soon as I have the kind of conversations I need to have with people, as soon as they're had, maybe I'll do something like that. I feel like I've been out for so long. I came out when I was 12. I'm 19 now. I've waited so long to be in my dream body. I've waited so long to make these steps that I've seen people my age make years ago, and I kind of feel like documenting them is the way to go. So yeah, hopefully I will be doing more of these. What are your transitional steps? What things do you want to see me talk about, and give me your feedback and information in the comments, and I will hopefully do one of these soon, assuming something happens soon. Okay, that is kind of it. Stay safe, look after yourself, and yeah, that's it. Bye!